The galaxy had long whispered rumors about the lost sector beyond the Perseus Rift, a dead expanse of uncharted silence. No transmissions escaped that region, no probes ever returned. Many had believed it cursed. Others thought it was a natural void, an absence of civilizations or life. Yet today, as the Galactic Council fleet approached the coordinates of a newly detected anomaly, every sensor aboard their ships trembled with readings they could not explain. It began as a simple blip, an energy surge unlike anything the Council's scanners had ever captured. It did not match any known power signature, nor did it resemble a star, a planet, or a weapon. It was a calm pulse, rhythmic and measured as if it were breathing. The command bridge aboard the lead vessel went silent. Commanders leaned closer to the holographic display as the signal grew stronger. "Origin," one officer muttered, breaking the still air. Vector traces point directly to the Sol system. The name alone carried a strange echo. The Sol system had been sealed from galactic maps for centuries, dismissed as an abandoned backwater. According to archives, the species that once lived there, humans, had vanished after a series of catastrophic wars. The Council had marked them as extinct. But now the scanners said otherwise. Within minutes, entire task forces were redirected. Battleships, exploration cruisers, and diplomatic vessels alike converged on the edges of Sol space. The Council intended to investigate and, if necessary, contain whatever had awakened. None of them expected what would come next. When they emerged from the slipstream, the stars themselves seemed distorted, bent around a colossal shadow. It was not a planet. It was not an asteroid. It was a construct so immense that even their sensors struggled to render its full outline. The vessel hung motionless near the orbit of Jupiter. Its hull was dark and silent, reflecting no light, emitting no signal. Yet its sheer presence disturbed space-time itself. The fleet's sensors flared in panic, each system overloading with data spikes. Energy levels surpassed anything known to the Council's database. Some thought their instruments had malfunctioned. Others feared they were witnessing the birth of a black hole. Then, a low-frequency tremor rolled through the void. It was not sound, yet every being aboard every ship felt it in their bones. The alien commanders watched in frozen disbelief as the silhouette of the object began to illuminate, lines of faint blue radiance running like veins across its hull. The readings soared higher. "This isn't possible," whispered a senior tactician. "The power core alone could rival a star." And then, in a voice that seemed to come from the vacuum itself, a transmission cut through the silence. "Unidentified vessels. You have entered human space." The voice was calm, cold, and undeniably human. For a moment, the entire galactic fleet forgot to breathe. The Council's Supreme Commander ordered immediate translation protocols, but they soon realized there was nothing to translate. The signal was already in their own languages, perfectly converted. Their systems hadn't processed it. It had rewritten itself into their channels. "Identify yourselves," the voice continued. "Your presence has been logged." The Council delegation hesitated. Finally, one of the diplomats spoke. "This is the Galactic Council Exploratory Fleet. We come in peace. We seek to understand the nature of this entity." There was silence. The massive structure before them remained still, like a sleeping god considering whether to wake. Then the transmission returned. Designation confirmed. Galactic Council. Records indicate previous hostility. The diplomat frowned. "Hostility? There must be some mistake." "We have never—" "Records corrected," the voice interrupted. "Hostility status pending." The Council fleet went on alert. Defense fields shimmered to life. Energy weapons were primed, though no one dared fire. The tension in space felt alive, as if the void itself waited to see what would happen next. Then, the great vessel moved. No thrusters flared, no drives ignited, yet the massive construct shifted effortlessly, rotating to face the alien fleet. As it turned, its scale became truly visible. It was not a ship. It was a city, a fortress, perhaps even a continent bound together by black metal and quiet power. Every measurement broke the Council's charts. It was larger than any dreadnought ever built, perhaps larger than the moons orbiting nearby. When the forward section aligned, the fleet's sensor arrays overloaded completely. One by one, systems flickered and died. Artificial intelligences froze, optical networks collapsed. It was as though the human vessel's very existence disrupted lesser technologies. Inside the galactic flagship, panic began to rise. The commanders barked orders to stabilize systems, to retreat, to form a defensive perimeter. But before they could react, the human ship's surface lit up again. This time, thousands of energy conduits pulsed in harmony, tracing symbols and patterns that no one could decipher. Then, without sound, the void rippled. The aliens had never witnessed anything so precise. The Titan warship did not fire projectiles or beams. It simply released a wave, an invisible distortion that rolled outward like a silent tide. The Council's nearest cruisers vanished from existence, not destroyed, not exploded, simply erased as though reality had decided to forget them. The rest of the fleet recoiled. Emergency drives flared as ships scrambled backward, but the human vessel did not pursue. It remained where it was, silent and unyielding. The diplomat's voice shook as he spoke again. "We mean no harm. We did not come for war." The reply came instantly. "Neither did we. Yet you arrived with fleets. You came armed." "We were cautious," the alien admitted. "Your presence. We thought it a threat." "A reasonable assumption," said the voice. "So is ours." Every ship in the fleet went dead silent again. Finally, the Supreme Commander gathered courage. "We believed humanity extinct." There was a pause before the voice answered. "Extinct. That was your wish, not our fate." In the background of the transmission, faint mechanical echoes hummed, like distant engines stretching across eternity. Then came something none of them expected. A flicker of light near the warship's core, revealing a massive emblem burned into the hull, a circle surrounding a small blue world, Earth. The fleet realized then what they were seeing. This was no lost derelict. This was a living relic of humanity's return. The Council's historians had long recorded the ancient war, the one that supposedly ended with humanity's downfall. Millennia ago, when humans had reached the stars, their ambition had terrified the galaxy. They advanced faster than any species before them, constructing weapons and technologies that defied comprehension. The Council had declared them too dangerous to coexist. Armies were sent. Planets were burned. Humanity vanished, or so the records claimed. Now those same beings had returned, and they had built something the universe had never seen. The human voice spoke again, softer this time. "We left the galaxy to heal. We watched from afar, and we learned." The alien diplomat found his courage. "Learned what?" "That peace does not come from treaties. It comes from deterrence. You feared us once. You will again, but this time you will not forget why." The Council fleet attempted to maintain composure, but their fear was palpable. Every scanner that tried to read the Titan's structure failed. Every attempt to detect crew or interior systems resulted in static. Some believed the vessel was automated. Others thought it contained minds far beyond organic form. The Supreme Commander whispered to his aide, "If this is their first contact, what happens if we anger them?" The aide didn't answer. None could. Then, as if hearing the thought, the human transmission returned. "You wonder if we will strike?" "We will not unless you force our hand. This encounter is your test. Your next move will decide the future of your council." The alien commander swallowed hard. "And if we choose hostility? Then you will learn why the stars went silent when we departed." A silence deeper than space itself followed. No ship dared move. No captain dared speak. The weight of that promise pressed down on every being present. The council finally transmitted a retreat order. The fleet began to back away, their drives flickering nervously as they turned from the massive vessel. No human pursuit followed. No weapons fired. Only the steady heartbeat of the Titan's core remained echoing across the void. Hours passed before they cleared the system. When they finally jumped back to council space, the data they carried was incomplete. Most of it had been corrupted by proximity to the Titan. Yet one recording remained intact, a visual feed of the human ship, looming silent against Jupiter's storms. When the council convened to review it, even the most hardened strategists sat in uneasy quiet. One by one, they studied the footage, the hull markings, the energy readings, the voice that spoke with impossible precision. "This is not a ship," one admiral whispered. "It's a declaration." Another asked, "Declaration of what?" "Of return," the admiral said. "And of supremacy." The debate raged for cycles. Some demanded diplomacy. Others demanded preemptive strike plans. But none could agree on a course of action, for every simulation ended in failure. The Titan warship's power output surpassed anything they could model. It defied physics, logic, even imagination. In the end, the Council chose silence. They erased all public records of the encounter, sealed the data under the highest classification, and forbade any further expeditions into Sol. Yet rumors spread anyway, whispers of a human warship the size of a moon, of an ancient race reborn, of eyes that still watched the star.